if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? Come on, come on.
Soldiers learn to kill. They have machine guns, cannons, rockets, and all your parks have cannons, war tanks. That wouldn't be in any park in the Venus Park. You show warplanes shooting down other planes. You got all these games where they're killing each other. How do you expect people to be sane?
Just the basic facts. Can you show me where it hurts? There is no pain, you are receding. A distant ship, smoke on the horizon.
That's the supreme failure of nations to understand how to solve problems. We don't have to kill other people. We can invite all nations in and share all the Earth's resources. There's more than enough to take care of everybody. They can all live very well. So armies and navies are not to protect people. They're there to protect an established system. Every established system works in a similar manner. It takes the youngsters and say, what's the greatest country in the world? The youngsters who have the slightest idea. This country. This is the greatest country in the world. And God's on our side. Every country does that. And so you got a bunch of pinheads all over the world responding to these mechanisms of control. If you had a free society, you couldn't get people to go to war. If you had an intelligent type of upbringing amongst children, they would say there must be many other ways of solving problems other than killing people. If you took the profit out of war, there'd be no war. What the hell do you think war is? You think we go to another country to bring democracy? We go there because there's oil, resources, or something we need.
You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down. We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. Not too long ago, two friends of mine were talking to a Cuban refugee, a businessman who had escaped from Castro. And in the midst of his story, one of my friends turned to the other and said, "We don't know how lucky we are." And the Cuban stopped and said, "How lucky you are. I had some place to escape to." And in that sentence, he told us the entire story. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down. Man's old age dream, the ultimate in individual freedom consistent with law and order, or down to the ant-heap of totalitarianism. And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course.
Do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed. the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die. And the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate. The unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!